So Botswana is an important trading partner for South Africa's agricultural sector. In 2025 alone, we exported to Botswana just over 840 million US dollars of agricultural products. That was about 6% of South Africa's agricultural exports. Of course, as a country, we export to a range of countries across the world. In 2025, our agricultural exports in total were at a record 15.1 billion US dollars. But with Botswana, though, we want to broaden our agricultural exports. And in the recent past, we've been experiencing some difficulties, particularly with exports of fruits and vegetables, with Botswana putting on frequent bans. Blocking the exports out of South Africa to the country. And the rationale that you typically hear is that they are working to improve their domestic production. And that is something that must be supported. But I think the frequent bans of the export, and at most times without effective communication, is a bit of a challenge, especially now that we are all part of the customs union, the Southern African Customs Union, SACU. And the spirit of the region is that there is better integration in terms of trade, closer cooperation. And I think that since from around 2021, we have been seeing all of these bans. And as a result, even if you look at the list of agricultural products that South Africa exports to Botswana, you will see that fruit and vegetables no longer feature as prominently. Part of the reason is actually these frequent bans. But then Botswana cannot just sit back and not develop its agricultural industry. I think they should, but that can be done better with collaboration in the region. There are already some efforts that are being made. For example, the Citrus Growers Association is one of the South African associations that actually share technology with growers in the region, including Botswana. And I think we can tap on the agribusinesses in South Africa and say, what can they do to assist Botswana in their effort of improving their agricultural production? But as they do that, I think that we should not have these interventions that are blocking trade, because at the end of the day, just as much as they inconvenience the South African farmers, they also present some difficulties for consumers in Botswana when the food prices are rising. So we should really embrace a deeper collaboration, remove all of the barriers, and making sure that there's deeper trade within our region. But also there is support for those that are planning to improve their domestic agricultural sectors. But we should also have a conversation that I think is necessary and we have been avoiding, which is about the review of the Southern African Customs Union, SACU. Because as South Africa's agriculture, we are aiming to continue to expand our agricultural exports. And I think for us to succeed in our export diversification, there's a certain conversations that we should actually be having about the review of SACU so that South Africa can be able to enter on a number of bilateral trade agreements with a couple of countries and not be constrained by some of the restrictions that may be part of SACU. I've written about this in my Substack. If you haven't read it, it's on all of my social media profiles, but I will make sure also I link the essay that I wrote this morning on this issue.